Hey guys, so I was about to record a whole different video, but I remembered that I promised in my last video that I would make another Holy Trinity Road to Irrelevancy video. So I kind of paused on that and thought, you know what, we're gonna get into this. And yeah, let's just get into it. I have a few things to address before we get into the video because that's just how I roll nowadays. Oh, why is my camera wonky? So 1, this lipstick is Anastasia Beverly Hills Spice. 2, don't leave comments suggesting things or criticizing things unless you've watched the whole video. Now hear me out. You can comment stuff during the video as you're reacting to my video, because I know a lot of people do that, and other things of that sort. But if it's something to do directly with you making a recommendation for another video, or you criticizing something, or me not saying something, or me saying something, please watch through the whole video, because you never know, I might have said that at a later stage in the video and it just irritates me to watch something and have to reply, oh, I already said that in the video. You didn't need to say that because I already said that in the video. It just gets a bit repetitive. The Holy Trinity that we're talking about today is Grace Helbig, Hart and Hannah Hart, who were and still are very close friends, and they all made videos together. However, their channels are pretty much dying now. I want to get into why I think that is, but I think the answers are always pretty clear. It's just people don't want to admit it. I'm here to just make it that much more clear. First, we're going to start with the channel that I actually watched myself, because I feel like then I can express a lot more opinions about it. We can leave the channels that I didn't watch towards the end because I'll obviously have less to say. It's just facts, isn't it? I watched her for a while and then I stopped. A while ago, I'd say maybe a year or 2 ago, I stopped watching her videos. It's probably been a while now. But I stopped watching her videos because I just got a bit bored. I think Grace was getting bored with the content she was making and it just looked very forced. But also, I think there's this whole thing about me where I've just grown up and the things that I used to find funny, I don't really find funny anymore. I know that it just kind of sucks because those people are still great people. This isn't a personal attack to them. I literally just don't find their content entertaining anymore or funny anymore. There's no reason to it other than I've just grown out of it. It's the same with Superwoman, and it's the same with the Oles and all that stuff. I just don't find them entertaining anymore the way I did. But if you don't know the history of Grace, she actually used to be on a channel called Daily You, and she basically kind of got over by them, and then she left and she did her own thing, but she could never get that content back, and it's still actually up on the channel and it used to get a ton of views. So if you go through and you go to the Daily You channel, it's got almost 2 million subscribers. Just remember that number for when I come back to it in a minute. Almost 2 million subscribers. And if you write in Grace Helbig into the search bar on the channel, there's a video that comes up and it's called Stitches, and it's on 1.2 million views 5 years ago. Then a Hank Green Hazes, almost 500,000 views 5 years ago. Flula Hazes, 500,000 views 4 years ago. Blah 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 blah. 2 million views, 700,000. Those were getting a lot of views. It's on 2 million views, 2 million subscribers now, and let's just consider that for a minute, because now they make weird cartoons that get, well, the most recent one was a year ago and it got 100,000 views, but the one before that was on 20, and then 57, and then 36. Those are not great views, but this just seems very forced. There's a lot happening there. I'm assuming those videos didn't really get monetized because some of those topics are quite controversial. The cartoon looks a bit like a desperate attempt at being raunchy, but just not really doing it well. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean, yeah. So that's kind of how Grace started, and then she made her own channel. She's almost on 3 million subscribers, and she still makes the videos that she was making when I unsubscribed, which is really sad to see, because I feel like people are so scared to change up the content, because you could say it still works, I guess. You could say she's still getting views, but it's just not what it used to be. So she's still making the fashion reviews. Those were cool for a while, those were really entertaining for a while, but I feel like it just gets very repetitive with every review. What else can you say? The dress is nice, the dress is not nice, she's looking like this, he's looking like that. At the end of the day, there's not really much you can say. There's nothing else you can really say when you're doing those kind of reviews, and I just feel like it got a bit stale. Then she's still making her, food related videos, which I guess are fun, but they're clearly not doing as well on her channel anymore. It's just not what people go to her channel for, and I think those were actually one of the most entertaining videos. So in this case, I just feel really bad because I feel like those videos are the most entertaining, but people are just not really interested in them. She's still making her monthly favorites, and those are probably her least popular videos that she's making on her channel right now. The July favorites got literally 92,000 views views. That is not enough for a 2 million channel. Oh, my mom just came in. She's gonna come straight up into this room. Those are the kind of videos that she's still making, and some of them are not getting the views that they used to get. It's just the same thing again and again and again, and I just got sick of it, and I think a lot of people got sick of it, and I'm not surprised, because you want to see something different every now and then. And I feel like just because this worked 2 years ago doesn't mean it works now, and it was barely working 2 years ago, because I feel like that's when she started kind of fizzling out, like a year ago, 2 years ago, and now it's literally just not working. We'll see her social blade though. I usually start with the social blade, so I don't know why I jumped straight into the channel, but in the last 30 days Grace Helbig has lost 8.5 thousand subscribers, and she has got in the last 30 days just under 1 million views, which isn't great for an almost 3 million subscriber channel. Grace Helbig loses anywhere between 100 and 500 subscribers. Ooh, no, let me take that back. 100 and 800 subscribers a day, which puts it at an average of about 300 subscribers a day, and she gets anywhere between like 15 and 100,000 views a day, which puts it at an average of about 33,000 views a day, which isn't great realistically. Like, it isn't great for a channel with almost 3 million subscribers. Like, it should be a little bit more than that if you ask me. Let's go back into her channel. As I said, I think the main things that killed Grace is her repetitive content, the fact that she hasn't come up with any new ideas since I unsubscribed. I subscribed a hot sec ago, and she's still making the same content, which to me just shows that she is lost for ideas at this point. But I guess to her this works. Even though she's losing subscribers, she's still technically getting views per video, so you know, she's getting anywhere between like 100 and 250,000 views, which to her is fine. Like, you can still make a good living out of that. It's just not good for what I know she's capable of. Now, all the things that Grace has done in her career could be, I guess, reasons for her decline in a way. So she did that whole making a book thing, which was fine. She had a book tour, she did that whole shebang, and that was fine. Then she made a movie, and that movie actually did alright. Like, if you think about in the grand scheme of like YouTube movies, it did okay. She did it with Mamrie and Hannah, and then the second movie came along, and I feel like it got a lot less hype than the first one. I don't remember anyone really talking about that movie. I remember people talking about the first one and hyping that one up a lot more, but the second one not so much. Another big factor, I think, is she tried to make that TV show, and that got cancelled after a solid like few episodes because it just wasn't getting the views. And I heard a lot of her fans saying, oh, you know, it just didn't work because it's not the same like format and blah blah. It's not that it wasn't the same format, because that's not the problem. It's just that Grace started to already lose importance in the YouTube community, so for her to then come out and try to do a TV show when she's not at the peak of her career, it was a bad move. I feel like if she had done that TV show when she was at the peak of her career, even if it was a different format to her YouTube videos, it would have still done great, because people would have just watched it for Grace rather than for the format that it was in. I don't think the format had anything to do with it, or the fact that the TV show didn't let her do certain things. That's just how TV shows work, but that would have still worked for her if she was at the peak of her career, but she wasn't, and I feel like she was grasping at straws at that point. I think my favorite thing about Grace Helbig was her podcast, Not Too Deep. 100%. I loved that podcast. I don't know why I don't listen to it anymore. I should realistically go back to it, because my journeys to uni right now are pretty long, a lot shorter than to sixth form or college or whatever you want to call it, but still pretty long, so I should probably get back to it. But her podcast was one of the best things about Grace Helbig, and it was the one thing I think that was keeping me subscribed for a lot longer, because I feel like, because I was listening to her podcast, I was a lot more inclined to click on her videos, but then I slowly just distanced myself, and I feel like that's why I stopped listening to her podcast, because I unsubscribed from her channel. I have my notifications turned off on my podcast, so I don't really know when someone posts a podcast, but when I saw her in my sub box, it would kind of remind me and jog my memory, and I was like, oh, okay, her podcast, let me go check it out. But now I don't have that like visual reminder of like, oh yeah, let me just go watch that or listen to that, should I say. And I think her podcast was the one thing that really worked for her, and it still works for her. I think, I'm not sure how much her viewers have dropped on that, or how popular it is with people anymore, or how much she's taking care of it, but in my eyes, that was the one thing that she should have kept going and focused on the most, rather than pushing the same fashion reviews and the same monthly favorites. I feel like that worked 4 years ago. Let's leave it there. Let's leave that content in that era of YouTube, because we are way past that now. From Grace Helbig, I always knew of Mamrie and Hannah, but I never watched their content necessarily, because when I found out about Mamrie, I was about what, 14, 15 you could say, and she was making like those cocktail recipes. Nostalgia wasn't my thing, and now I'm 18 and it's still not my thing because I don't drink alcohol. So it's like I'm just not interested, not because there's anything wrong with her. There's nothing wrong with any one of us. I'm just not interested in that kind of content, but I'm assuming it's someone's cup of tea, right? Let's look at her social blade first, since that's my format. I don't know why I switched it up with Grace. She's on 1.2 million subs, you could say. She's a comedy type channel, which I can agree with. Her videos were very much comedy based. They weren't very like content based, they were more comedy based. So like she would make the cocktail drink videos, but I feel like people didn't really go there for the recipe, they went there for the comedy. Her channel's not content based, it's comedy based and personality based, which I feel like is always a good thing. And you can see that through kind of her losing a lot less subscribers than Grace. But I feel like that's kind of also the case because she's on a lot less subscribers. If a 60 million channel is constantly losing subscribers and a 2 million channel is losing subscribers, the 60 million one is losing them at a much higher rate. Kind of that's the thing here. So I'm not really sure if she's losing less subscribers than Grace because she's got less subs than Grace to begin with, or because she's simply more personality based, so people are sticking around more with her. So in the last 30 days she has lost just over 3,000 subscribers, which is actually an increase of 38% from the last 30 days. And in the last 30 days she has gained 255,000 subscribers, which is a decrease of 57%, and 255 isn't great for a 1.2 million subscriber channel. She is losing anywhere between like 50 and 200 subscribers a day, which puts her at an average of about 100 subscribers a day, and she is gaining anywhere between like 5 and 10,000 views a day, which puts it at an average of about 8.5 thousand subscribers a day. That is a small channel. That is a channel that's starting up, it's getting a bit of traction, that kind of a channel. Like not small as in you're on like 10 subscribers, I mean like 20,000 to like 50,000 subscribers. That's like that channel, and that is just not that. Like she can do so much better. But we'll look at her channel because I haven't been there for a while. My lighting today is a whole mess, but you know what, I'm trying my damn best. So she's still making her cocktail recipe videos, which is fine because that's kind of her most popular series, you could say. But to me that content has no longevity, because at some point you're gonna run out of ideas for new cocktail recipes, because how many cocktail recipes can you realistically make, and how many of them are actually going to be that different? So as I said, her cocktail recipe videos are very much personality based rather than content based, because there's only so many cocktails you can make before people get sick of it. And I'm assuming that, you know, the core audience that's there for her personality still watch those videos, but the people that were there for the actual cocktail recipe are gone now. Some of her most popular ones are on like 350,000, those were 2 months ago, and those are the ones with Grace Helbig, and 230,000 with Grace and Hannah. But then when she makes a video on her own, with 50,000 and 80,000 and 60,000. Now I'm not saying that she's a leech, because she's not. She's doing fine on her, she was doing fine on her own. The thing is, I don't think any of them leached onto any of them, but it was more of that same like becoming friends on YouTube and then making a lot of videos together, like a lot more than you should be making together. So people are more subscribing for you as a group rather than you as a person, and I think that's a problem. When your channel becomes a group effort, it's just not great, because once you stop making videos with those people, you're going to start losing subscribers and viewers, because people are going to be a lot less interested. And you can see that through her views. You know, when she's doing a video with Grace or Hannah or both of them, she's getting in the hundreds of thousands of views. When she's making a video on her own, she's getting in the below 100,000 views. And that is not to say that she is uninteresting as a person. I think she is very funny, but just not my comedy style. But she's very funny to some people. But I feel like all of their channels were very much based on them three being friends together. So when they make videos without the other people, they don't do as well. And that's just kind of my theory with a lot of channels. They were just too collab based to survive in the long run. I feel like that was the kind of the problem with the British crew as well. The Oles, the Alfies, the Caspers, the Joes, all of them, they were very much collab based. The videos are very much me and my friends hanging out. But once you stop making those videos and you want to make videos on your own, they don't do as well, because people want to see you and your friends making videos together. The last channel I want to talk about is Hannah Hart. She's on 2.5 million subscribers. She's also a comedy channel. In the last 30 days she has lost almost 6,000 subscribers, which is actually an increase of 37%. In the last 30 days she has also gained 1.5 million views. Not that great. great, which is a decrease of 3.8%, not that big of a difference. For a 2.5 million channel to get 1.5 million views in a month, great. She loses anywhere between 20 and 400 or 500 subscribers, which is an average of 200 subscribers a day, and she gains anywhere between 30 and 70,000, well no, 30 and 100,000 views a day, which is an average of 52,000 views a day. If you look at her most recent videos, the views are not looking too great, and also the ideas for videos are not that great. Like I get why she's not getting the views, like that's not a mystery. So there's a video with 27,000 views 17 hours ago, and 100,000 views, and then 60,000 and 80. So all of them are pretty much below 200,000 views. Now hear me out. There's a video with Amrie and Grace, and it's on 300,000. So once again, it's kind of, you know, agreeing with my theory. They make videos together, they get a lot of views. They make videos on their own, they don't get a lot of views, because they were very much collab based, and people were more obsessed with them as a three rather than them as individuals. And they kind of pushed that because, you know, once you're at your peak, and let's say, you know, you're making friends, you make a video with your friend and it gets a lot of views, and you think, huh, if I do that again, I'll just get more views, so more money, blah blah blah, whatever the goal is. So obviously they would push that kind of collab thing because they wanted more views, and that's how they were gaining subscribers, and that's how they got to the peak of their careers, through collabs pretty much. And now it's difficult to keep that up because you can't make every video with someone. Some of your videos are gonna have to be alone, and I feel like that's why collab based channels don't do as well in the long run, because you can't constantly make videos with friends. Like, sometimes you're gonna have to make videos on your own, and those are never gonna do as well. There are a few videos on here that got more views. As I said, the Amrie and Grace one. There's a K-pop cake pops. K-pop is a big thing now, so that was a pretty good way of getting views. Our engagement story, those tend to always get a lot more views, also because she's a part of the LGBTQ+ community. If she makes a video based around that, it's going to get a lot more views. I'm not saying people do it for the views or milk it for the views, I'm just saying that tends to get a lot more views on a channel that is known for LGBTQ stuff. And then the rest of them are all below like 100,000 views, which isn't great for a 2.5 million subscriber channel. But once again, I don't have that much information on Amrie and Hannah because I never really watched their channels, but from what I can see, the three of them very much depended on each other for their careers. And as I said, you can't keep that up. Zoella couldn't keep on making collabs with Tanya and Louise and all of them lot, so the views and the subscribers started to drop. Louise distanced herself from the British crew and showed everyone that she can make videos on her own, and she's doing just fine. Her views have dropped and so on and so forth, but she's got a very stable fan base right now who are watching her stuff. That's kind of all you can really ask for on YouTube, is a stable fan base that will always be there, like a core audience that will watch all your videos. I feel like Joe, Casper and that kind of a group, they depend too much on collabs, and I feel like that is not long term, which is why they are starting to lose the views and the subs. And now Joe's on Strictly Come Dancing, and he's doing just fine. I'm very happy for him, very proud of him. I thought he did so well in week 1. I think that could revive him a little bit, at least for a short time. But other than that, I feel like people back in the day treated, you know, YouTube as like this, I'm chilling with my friends and just having fun, and that doesn't have the same ring anymore. I feel like some people that can still get away with it at times are the sidemen, because they are a group. Even though they've got their individual channels, they've also got combined channels. So if you think about it, they post their own shit on their own channels, but then they come together and make group videos on their combined channels. So I feel like for them, collabs work because they're actually an official group, so that's kind of what people would expect from you. But they can also make videos on their own that get a lot of views, so they're fine. But I feel like if you've got your own individual channels but then you build them up on collabs alone, that isn't long term enough. The lighting makes me look like I'm floating in mid-air like just a little bit, is it not? This is a little bit spooky though. Oh my god, I'm wearing orange as well. I think we're getting into the Halloween season now. This is a very Halloween-y video. Like, I should be telling some spooky stories. These are pretty spooky stories though. Losing a career like that is spooky. But yeah, I think Grace's content was always really good, and then I kind of just fizzled out. I don't have anything personally against her. I never really watched Amrie and Hannah's videos because they weren't my comedy style, but I think the three of them needed to, at their peak, push the idea that they are individuals individual human beings, but instead they realized that collabs get them views, so they didn't think about the long term, and now they are suffering the consequences of that. If you're an individual channel, do a collab every now and then. Don't force collabs on collabs on collabs on collabs. Even though they're getting views now, people are not subscribing for you, they're subscribing for the collab, they're subscribing for the idea of you and your friends rather than the idea of you. So I'm gonna end this video here. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, comment down below anything you want to comment down below, and subscribe because I post videos every Wednesday and Sunday. I don't know why I turned into a cheerleader. Wow. Also follow me on all my socials, they will be on the screen or in the description down below. It's all the same, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.